Well, all of a sudden the mic is making a lot of noise.
Oh, I apologize. Let me try and plug it out and in again.
Yeah, turning it down.
Is that better?
Yes, that's good.
Perfect. Wonderful.
So anyway, Robert, it's good to see you again.
It's good to see you too.
And you have a question about satisfaction.
Yes,
Rod Stewart's question.
I do get the reference.
Oh, you don't know him and his song Can't Get No Satisfaction?
Oh, the song. Oh, yeah, I've heard the song. Yeah, I didn't know it was his.
Yeah. That's the whole thing that we have. That's our life. Can't get no satisfaction.
Story of my life, right there. Yeah, fair enough. Good point. But so my question is, are there levels of satisfaction? Because I've heard you say that there's no like better and worse satisfaction, but I've also heard you say that lots of people settle for second place, and I took that to mean second place satisfaction, not the best satisfaction that they can have.
Okay, except for one thing, and that is that if second place satisfaction is satisfaction, then calling it second place is a hindrance that prevents it from being first place satisfaction. Okay, then in fact you destroyed the satisfaction by saying that it's not good enough. You become dissatisfied with satisfaction.
That's a good point. I've heard you make that many times, and I've seen myself do that many times. But I've also found that certain satisfactions are more satisfying than other satisfactions. So sometimes I feel satisfied, but
Ah, but when
there's
you
some.
have that satisfaction, then you're satisfied with it. And then at another time, when you have some satisfaction, but it's not as good as that satisfaction, that means that you're not being satisfied with the satisfaction the second time. So that means it is actually not even satisfaction. The same thing happens with joy, that in fact are very deeply interrelated. And I used to use the word joy with the students more often. And they says, yes, I do have joy, but it's not enough joy. All right. Always wanting more. Well, that wanting more and wanting more is that mind state that we have. That if a little is good, then more is better, and a whole pile of it is wonderful.
Mm, yeah,
Actually, good enough and wonderful are states of mind anyway. That's the point. In other words, if you can get yourself satisfied a little bit, then you have control over that satisfaction for a little bit. But if you have that same level of satisfaction and say, no, I want it to increase, I want more satisfaction, now that's a hindrance that is actually keeping you from experiencing with satisfaction the satisfaction that you already have. The whole idea is to learn to be satisfied with a little bit of satisfaction
I see. I see. Okay,
instead
I'm
of
following.
wanting more and more and more. That you're already enlightened enough. You don't have to get any more enlightened. You're already enlightened. All you need is already there. That's what we're looking for is that quality of nurturing. And the satisfaction that you get from nurturing is all the satisfaction and all the nurturing you need right now because we're actually developing a skill at it. There's a silly little example about that. Okay, so we're practicing satisfaction itself, and yet the mind wants to practice to get the satisfaction better, which means we're not satisfied with this satisfaction. That's the point. So the story is that the student wants to learn to play the piano. He buys a piano. He goes to the music store and buys a whole bunch of music books from beginners. I want he signs up for a lesson with the teacher. He has his first lesson with the teacher. And now he thinks that's good enough, and so he doesn't practice. Is he going to learn the piano if he doesn't practice the piano? Let's say he's off playing baseball or reading a book, right? No, he's got to actually practice the piano.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Okay, so you've got to actually practice satisfaction. You get where I'm coming from? You got to practice satisfaction to get satisfaction. You can't say, oh, well, I'm satisfied, but I want more satisfaction, because now you're practicing being dissatisfied, even with satisfaction.
Yes. It's another type of practicing dissatisfaction, yeah. Or the same practice, really, but in a new, sneakier way. No, I follow, yeah.
Right. So that's the way of practicing, is to be satisfied with the satisfaction that you have, knowing that the skill that you're developing is the skill of satisfaction, that it's a skill to be developed. But you've got to practice that skill in order to develop it. You can't practice another skill like wanting satisfaction in order to develop satisfaction. There, you're only developing the skill of wanting something you don't have.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Subtly,
Very tricky.
yeah.
Yeah, very tricky.
It is tricky, because it's very satisfying to practice wanting satisfaction and to succeed at it. So often I find myself affirming my success. Like you said, there's a great quote from you that I wrote down called "The practice is repeated success," and I use that to just sort of say, I'm succeeding. I conjure up those feelings, but while I'm doing that, I'm still practicing making the feeling better and better and better, and it's a very satisfying activity to do. But I can see that subtly that is different from just being okay with the satisfaction I've already created.
And in fact, it's probably a little more effort than you actually need.
Yes. It's definitely a more kind of motivated satisfaction. It has this quality of striving, of putting forth effort, of engagement, as opposed to a quality of just relaxation and just enjoying the show. Yeah,
Okay.
like playing the game versus watching someone else play it, kind of would be how I distinguish that.
And so this is the point then, that we can add that extra ingredient that comes from the samma sankappa, and that is the ingredient of eagerness or enthusiasm. Okay, that if you are eager, enthusiastic about the little bit of satisfaction that you have, then enthusiasm for a little bit of satisfaction helps it grow. Satisfaction really does grow when it takes less effort. And one of the ways of helping the effort that it takes is by, number one, trying to make it better, because that's extra effort. And number two, being enthusiastic with how wonderful and marvelous it is to have just a tiny bit of satisfaction. Just a little dab will do you. Hey, yeah, we got a little bit going here. Okay, that's the way of looking at it, is that we gotta, in the old days when a car wouldn't start, we would push it off because it had gears and old batteries and that kind of stuff. Now that they've got electronic ignition systems and automatic transmissions, people don't push their cars off so much. They call a mechanic or something.
Yeah.
But in the old days, we would push them off. It takes the most effort to get the car moving from 1 mile an hour to a half a mile an hour. Getting it to go from a half a mile an hour to 1 mile an hour is easy enough. Getting it to go 2 miles an hour is easier, okay, but that first thing of getting it off the mark is where the energy is taken. And so the question is, can you learn to put your elbow into it for a very short time to get the thing going, and then you can relax and let it coast a bit.
Yes, it's like a little moment of right effort to just nudge the satisfaction vehicle moving again, and
Yes,
then I
to
can
get
just
that,
relax
just
straight
get
away
it moving
and
again,
enjoy.
just get it rolling. And now we have the skill of satisfaction underway. Just enough effort. But see, what you're doing is that now you've got a little bit of satisfaction going. You're still pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing on that car.
Yes, yeah, I'm trying to sort of pump it up and increase a lot of the piti sukha. Yeah, and I've noticed something as well is in kind of noticing like there's different kinds of satisfaction. Like I've noticed that there's a kind of the two main that I've noticed is there's other variations, but the two main ones is a very peaceful satisfaction, and then a very sort of overjoyed, excited kind of, I think, enthusiastic kind of satisfaction. And so I'm sort of imagining the first one is like lots of pity, and the second one is just like more just the sukha.
Yes, precisely.
Yeah,
And when that
yeah,
melts into absolute satisfaction or peacefulness, that word would then be called upekkha.
yes,
Okay,
yes,
so there's three
excellent,
stages
excellent.
of it.
Yes.
And that three sequence, by the way, is also uh, reference to or able to be put right in then to the qualities of the jhana, so that the piti is the second jhana, where you become overwhelmed with how good you feel. And then the third jhana is the sukha of I'm no longer overwhelmed with how good I feel, but I still feel that good. And so that's a more relaxed state where it's comfortable and safe and secure, but it's not uh, jumping up and down anymore.
Mm,
Okay.
mm.
And then you could say, then you could talk about it in the sense of that the piti is running and the sukha is stopping the running and just standing there relaxed. And then upekkha is laying down. So
Yeah,
that's a way of looking at it this way. But the uh, the development starts with gladdening the mind to bring on the sukha. And the sukha then, with that over and over again, begins to bring on the piti or the yiha of, wow, we've got this. We've got it.
mm,
That's the quality
mm.
of samma sankappa, the wholesome thought of we can do this. It's got enthusiasm and eagerness built into it.
Mm.
You probably heard the expression, it may not be appropriate in all places, but here the expression would be, hold my beer. Have you ever heard that expression?
Yeah, I have. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the attitude. I'm going to go take care of this thing.
yeah. Hold my beer. Watch this. Yeah,
Right. But hold my beer. I've got work to do right now, and I'm going to
yeah,
do it enthusiastically. So that's the quality then that we're looking for to build that up. Because once we have that hold my beer quality, we can also see that is hold my thoughts. Because now I'm going to be really, really deeply engaged with this piti, this sukha piti, how good I feel. We don't have to talk ourselves into it or describe it anymore. We can just sit there and enjoy it directly as direct experience.
mm,
Right?
mm.
So this is the direction that we're going, but we're not going to be able to get there if we can't get that satisfaction going so that we're satisfied, because it's that repetitive satisfaction that brings on that attitude of, hey, I can keep doing this. I could do this again. So sukha and then dukkha and then sukha and then dukkha and then sukha. And every time we visit sukha, we say, hey, I've been here before. And then the dukkha comes up and say, never mind, I'm back to sukha. And then we get
Yes,
the idea, I
yes,
can keep coming back to
yes.
the sukha. I can keep coming back to it. And that help keep coming back to it, that's where the enthusiasm builds in. And that makes it then easier to throw that dukkha out and come back because we've got the enthusiasm knowing that we can throw this
Yeah,
dukkha out.
and that confidence I found really key because the more confident I am, the less effort I need, the less long I need to apply the effort. I can just be like, oh, I remember I can do this. I remember that the practice is to feel good anyway. There we go, done, done deal. I'm back to satisfaction.
Right. So now that we're talking about it that way, we're talking about it to answer your question. Yes, there are various kinds of sukha, and what we want is we want to have just a little bit it to get it started. We got to
Yes.
nudge it, or bump it to get it
Yes.
going. But once we do, it's going to be on a roll because now the effort is very little. We can keep pushing, and the better attitude that we have, the easier the pushing will keep the thing rolling for us. All right. Now we're in the beginning. We're not going to be able to get that car pushed off to get it up to 100 miles an hour. That's not the intention. Never was the
Hmm.
intention to get it going that fast. And yet, that's exactly the way that a lot of meditators think that they've got to practice meditation.
Hmm.
Okay. But rather, no, we just need to get it rolling. Just get it rolling. That's all we need to do. Just enough. Because then the momentum will build on its own
Yes.
because of the
Right.
skill development. So as we develop the skills, then that means that the pushing it off becomes easier and easier to do and get it rolling again without having
Hmm.
to have
Hmm.
an outcome or whatever. Just let me find some satisfaction to be satisfied right now, knowing that I can do this.
Yeah. It's like whatever we need to be satisfied with. It doesn't need to be big. It doesn't need to be lots of pity or piti. It just needs to be just anything small. The smaller the better, because the less effort we need to be satisfied by something that's very, very small, the less of a state
Safe.
change we need to create.
Yes,
Right.
and
Excellent.
that feeling of safe, feeling secure, feeling comfortable, and feeling satisfied. That's all there really is to it. Just a little bit of that. And so we can talk ourselves into feeling safe and secure by recognizing really there are no dangers right now. I mean, the photo of the eclipse behind you doesn't give you the idea that the place is going to blow up any moment now. So you're safe from that photo anyway. Okay, it
Yeah.
just recognize that everything is going to be okay. There's nothing really unsafe about it because our society has intentionally kept us unsafe. That the keeping people unsafe through propaganda, media, and in the schools, in the churches is all designed to keep people unsatisfied because if they're satisfied, you can't make a profit off of them. For an example, if someone is satisfied and he doesn't want any new legislation, and he's also not terrified of those other people over there, then he's got no reason to vote.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
one party or another's got to either lie to him by telling him, look how much we'll give you, giving his greed, or look how bad those other people are, they hurt you, which is the Republican ill will side of things. And that's what you have with political parties. Both of
Hmm.
them trying to manipulate you to get something out of you.
And they manipulate you by making you dissatisfied with the way things are. Yeah,
Okay.
like with companies selling you things, they create the need for the product. That's you being dissatisfied with the way you are now, so that you
Uh-huh.
think you need the product to solve the
There,
dissatisfaction.
there was a star, his name was Popeil, and he was the one that started the selling stuff on television. And it would always start out with how much drudgery people have in the kitchen. Oh, it's so difficult to chop with this knife, but if you buy my knife, now chopping is really easy, right?
Yeah,
So they
yeah,
all start off with how terrible life is without my product. And if you only had what I have to sell, then you would be better off.
yeah. It's
Okay.
like these exaggerated extremes of, like the black and white. Mopping with a normal mop sucks, but mopping with arm mop, it's like,
Uh-huh.
wow, my life is perfect now, it's fixed. Until the new model comes out, and then it's mopping with our old model sucks, mop with the
Uh-huh.
new model.
And Apple and Microsoft and General Motors all have to keep coming out with new models. They don't want people satisfied now with the model that they were satisfied with last year when it was new. They want to
It's
keep you in a state of dissatisfaction so you keep buying.
And I feel like it's kind of crazy, but like we can't really like blame the companies because we do that to ourselves in our own minds.
Well,
Like in
you
my
can't
mind, I'm
blame the
doing that to
companies
myself all the
because
time.
it's the people who have your mindset that you're talking about here that run those companies. And they know
Yeah.
that, oh, my life is driven by greed and ill will. Maybe I can profit off of everybody else's greed and ill will.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so we lie to them for the profit motive because the delusion that the CEOs have is the more money they have, the safer they are. Until they recognize when you've got too much money, then you need to worry about keeping that money because now you've got people trying to take you and your money, not just you. So life is not only safe without money, it's even more unsafe with money.
Yeah. You've got more to lose. Yeah, exactly.
You got
That's a
more
fair
to
point.
lose.
That's a fair point.
And so safety does not come from money, nor does it come from the lack of money. The feeling of insecurity is a state of mind that we're just merely in the habit of having. And so the practice here is to come out of that state of mind of being dissatisfied because things are dangerous and bring on a state at least a little bit of satisfaction so that I'm okay right now. Because if you are satisfied, you're unlikely to get up and go vote today. So when they want to increase voter turnout, the only way that they can increase voter turnout is not with wisdom, because the wisdom says, why bother to vote for either one of them? They're all corrupt.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah,
But
that's
the
fair
question
enough.
is, now are you going to vote for greed or are you going to vote for ill will? Because those are the other two choices. Okay, now look at how many things you vote for throughout the day. I'm not talking about necessarily the polls and elections. I'm talking about our seal of approval. So we go around approving of things that we like, and we go around disapproving of things that we find dangerous. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's where the judgmental mind comes from. The judgmental mind is the critical mind of, oh, that may be dangerous, or, oh, I don't like that. And it's all based upon these ignorant feelings. If I like it, therefore it must be good. If I like it and it must be good, then I've got to have it. And if I don't like it, it must be bad. And if it's bad, I've got to destroy it. And so there's your battle between good and evil, and it's always inside the mind, between the ears. And that battle is what we need to give up. That war inside, the war between the parent and the child, the war between the rules that we set and our inability to match up to our own standards.
Yes. It's crazy. I've heard you say it so many times, but my mind always finds a way. I always find a way to co-opt the teaching, like the teaching is dissatisfied, to create some problem. I need to be a certain type of satisfaction. Like maybe I'm satisfied with something.
Your microphone is garbled.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's got a gurgling sound to it.
No problem.
I think it's too loud. Turn it down.
Is it better?
No, it's still distortion. Okay, I hear both the microphones when you unplugged it and you plugged it back in, both of them have a lot of background noise. And so I think that if you could turn down the volume of your microphone,
I'll do that.
Skype allows you to do that.
Sure. Right. I'll just go into this. Sorry about my bad. My headphones are getting a little bit.
Yeah, I do not understand a word you're saying because it's so garbled. A lot of background.
Is this better? Is this better?
No, not at all better. No, it's exactly the way that it was. Very, very noisy. Now you got it.
Oh, this is working now.
No, wait a minute. I hear an echo voice. It sounds good. Speak to me.
Check 1, 2.
Okay, that's still distorted.
Okay. All right, 1 second. We're going to do some last minute studio rearrangements here. God.
I think you can do this in Skype.
I've been trying. I'm going to try and switch the. Oh no, I don't even have the. This is the wrong laptop for the. This is a bloody nightmare.
Yeah. You've got too much. God, the problem is too much volume. Down. On Skype, yeah.
I'm looking for it. There's no microphone turning down setting.
No, you go to
There's
settings.
speakers. There's a speakers loudness setting.
Microphone is there too. The audio settings. It says audio. You scroll down. You see
audio and video settings. Yeah, I don't see a volume level for it.
You see a word microphone.
Yeah. There's no. I'm so sorry. Automatically, I don't it. I'm so sorry.
Please don't talk right yet, because you're just blasting my ears. Okay. Does it say automatically adjust microphone settings?
I turned that off. I have it on now. Is this better?
With that off, okay, now you should be able to adjust the noise cancellation. Robert, I'm trying to step you through this, and you keep leaving.
I've switched the headphones I'm using, and I've set the noise cancellation to high.
That's better.
God, I can't hear you now.
Now that's working. Now. Okay, talk to me.
Check. Is this better? Please say it's better.
Your volume is high. That has always been the only problem, is the microphone volume is too high. How you set that is by go to the microphone settings and automatically adjust the microphone settings, turn that off, and then the next bar down, it has a volume control, and set that maybe down to 5.
Is this better?
That's much better already.
Okay.
Now I'm going to go back and set my microphone back to automatic. All right, now.
Okay.
All right.
I do apologize. I'm really sorry.
Something.
Okay. I was panicking there. I didn't want to hold you up because I knew you were holding everything.
I know. But you were talking for so long and I didn't understand a word of it, and so I finally had to stop you.
Thank you.
Okay. So anyway, what were you saying before? And we'll start again.
I have no idea. Let me remember.
Anyway, we were talking about satisfaction.
Yeah, we were talking about satisfaction. Yes, I think where I was going with it was that my next question at least was to ask, is the subtleness of the satisfaction a sign of progress? So you said quite clearly that how little satisfaction we can have with how little we need to be satisfied is a sign of progress, because the little of the satisfaction, less effort it needs, and the more the more the less like piti you need to create to be satisfied, the less of this big kind of blast of energy to become satisfied with it. You can just be like, oh, I already know I can be satisfied with this, done, and then you're satisfied, and very little about your state actually changes.
Okay.
And
So
I just
can
wanted
you
to confirm that that's a
sustain
sign
that?
of progress.
That's what we're
Right,
talking about,
right.
is being able just to sustain that rather than having a thought I can make it better.
Okay.
Because the thought I can make it better is the thought of a hindrance that just threw you out of it. Now you're dissatisfied. So the way to sustain it is to keep watching the mind, in the sense of not allowing unwholesome thoughts that are negative, like this isn't good enough, or I want more, or any of that, and keep coming back to this is good enough. Wow, this is really nice. Those thoughts of dissatisfaction are, let us say, sneaky. They will keep coming back and coming back and coming back. And your job is only to see that and say, never mind, I'm okay already. I'm already okay. You're already good enough, without having to compare one good enough with another good enough. That right now it's good enough.
All right, all right.
You see,
That's
we keep
nice. That's
wanting
nice.
more and we keep wanting more and we keep wanting more. And because we're wanting more, we destroy what we do have already.
Yeah, yeah. We kind of spoil it. Like I can really see that. Like at first I wasn't able to see that, but the more satisfied I get, like the more kind of like
The more often you
sensitive I
practice, the
am.
more you can see it over and over
Yeah,
again. It's not
yeah.
necessarily a matter of more satisfaction, it's that we could see it more clearly.
Yes, yes. I'm like sensitized to it, kind of. I'm like I can kind of see like like the range like has doesn't have to be as much to like see this satisfied, unsatisfied. You know, like things that I would before have thought as just satisfied, I can see like that's actually subtly like unsatisfying.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. That's great. That's great.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's it. That's
Okay.
the whole idea is that the when we have a little bit, if we relish that and this is good enough, then we're practicing correctly. If we
Hmm.
have a little, but we want to get it to be bigger, we've just lost it, because now we want it to be bigger. We're not satisfied with it. And so
Hmm.
this is what we have to learn to do, is to get ourselves into that state and then sustain it. This is
Hmm.
the real practices, over and over and over again, sustaining it. Get it going, keep it rolling, keep it rolling. Keep taking another deep breath, keep relaxing, keep being satisfied. Everything is all right, one moment at a time. That's the skills that we need to learn. Everything is okay. Keep repeating that. When a thought comes up, throw it out and come back to everything's okay, everything is fine. There'll be a lot of thoughts that this isn't good enough that come up. You can throw those out, come back, say,
Hmm.
yes, it is. This is good enough right now. This is fine. I'm satisfied with this.
So I had another question, which is, you've also mentioned that it's not about making consistent effort so much as it's making the right consistent effort. It's the accuracy of the effort. Um, is there like, I suppose, like, I feel like this kind of pertains to that first, like, initial getting the initial elbow of the car to get it rolling. Is there like, is there a particular like list of qualities of the satisfaction that we should keep in mind to make sure that it is a very like accurate, like
Oh,
gladdening,
sure.
like we're
And
not gladdening into a kind of messy, like lowery satisfaction that's not that satisfied, we're gliding like straight into like the satisfaction, straight
We
to
could
sukha.
look at it with other words that have that quality in the sense of relief. It's a relief to not have to think about making things better.
Mm,
Okay,
mm,
so,
mm,
oh, that's right. I don't have to do anything.
mm. That's a great pointer. That's a great pointer.
Yeah.
I like that, especially like a kind of like where I am now, having done a lot of the kind of like I'm the best, I'm the best, I mean not I'm the best, but like I'm winning at this, like having a lot of like these really joyful satisfactions. And I was saying before in the Sangha how it would lead to like some arrogance and to some like other hindrances and some conceit and some,
Right.
think
So that's
like,
exactly like
yeah,
that. After you get the car pushed off, all you need to do
yeah,
is just touch it occasionally to keep it rolling, and you think, I've got to get it going faster and faster and faster and faster. Oh no, just keep it moving. Just keep it rolling. Just
yeah.
touch it. Yeah, just keep it
This
going.
is nice. I can be relieved. Yeah, this
Yeah,
is
this is nice. Yeah, we got that car 1 mile an hour. That's all it needs right now. It's moving.
excellent,
That's the way
excellent.
of
That's
looking
great.
at it. Is that, and that
Yeah,
way we can relax. We don't have to keep making it better and better. Just get it good enough right now, and being able to sustain that feeling of good enough right now.
and the rest it does itself. We don't need to worry about it.
Those are the skills, and
Yeah,
you'd be surprised
yeah.
at what skills through
I'm
in the
already surprised,
but you
but
don't know.
yeah,
Right now, we just need to develop that skill of applying the mind to the wholesome and then sustaining it over and over and over again to just the wholesome. Not something special, not wonderful, just good enough. This will do. Just a little dab. You do one more dab, another breath, one more, and keep going like that. Just one more easy breath at a time.
I
With
like that.
thoughts,
I like
I
that.
could just
That's like a lot more chill than kind of what I was doing before. Less energy. It's more chill. It's just like this is good enough. It's like there's another one I like. It's just like sometimes I say like I'm already satisfied, even if I'm not. I'll just affirm that I already am, and then like it kind of like makes me already satisfied. I'm like, see, I already am satisfied. It's just like,
uh-huh.
it's kind of like a
Right.
weird
We
like
try to
trick.
trick ourselves. We're sneaky that way. I'm not
Yeah,
satisfied, but I'm going to pretend I'm satisfied, and then I'll be satisfied enough.
like fake it till
And
you make it. Yeah, yeah, that's kind of
and
what I
that
do.
just takes right, but that takes too much work.
That's true. That's true.
That's
It
even
does. It
more work
it
than
it
when you
it, it
put it.
does like because there's like that resistance between like no I'm not, no I'm not, no I'm not. How why are you saying that? Like yeah, that can definitely happen like a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, so allow that to say, all right, well, I'm not up to that standard, but I'm not trying to meet your standard. I'm just relaxing right now, just enjoying this moment without having to it be good enough for some magical standard that I've set.
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't have to be the right kind of satisfaction. It doesn't. I think it's just whatever's here. Like that's enough. The smallest unit of what I need. Doesn't matter what I need. Just I can use anything. It doesn't even need to be small, but but I naturally want it to be small because it's less effort and it's more satisfying. So just anything, whatever works. Just let's just be satisfied.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what we're looking. Just how long
Excellent.
can we get just a little satisfaction and then maintain just a little satisfaction? Just enough. Just yeah, I'm good enough. That, that's
It's,
good.
it's crazy because my whole life, pretty much up until you, including all of my spiritual practice and meditating for like an hour a day, 2 hours a day, like that, it was always like always. I was constantly either under stress and applying stress to myself, doing effort, or I was like escaping and feeling like a victim and wanting to just like numb myself so I could like pretend my problems don't exist. And it was like going between that and now there's like this third option. And it's really taking my mind a lot of time to get used to. And I'm practicing like all day. Like I'm trying to do it like all the time.
I
And
really
it's
can see
crazy.
that also, and I have to
Yeah.
congratulate you for it, Robert. Yeah,
Thank you.
you're
Thank you.
making
I've
all this. I'm so happy that so many of the
yeah.
students are beginning to figure out that it's okay to relax. That's all we need to do is just take a load off. Just relax. Everything's all right. Everything is fine. No worries. Nothing to do. It's not
And
good
it's
enough, and it's okay. It's all right.
there's something I notice you do a lot, which is like you like talk about like the words we use and how some words subtly like imply more stress and effort. And those words that I use would be watching the breath. And I started to notice like watching the breath, kind of for me at least, like just this was my personal like the way that word like meant stuff for me. It was like I have to be actively watching the breath. But then I started to use the word feel the breath. And so I just feel the breath. And it had this just like this really like comfortable, like peaceful, kind of fluffy connotations. And it was just like I
I
started
know
using that
those
instead.
kind of
Yeah.
words, watch the breath rather than just experience how nice the breath is, how
Yeah, or
good
enjoy the
it is.
breath, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to be able to clean out the sinuses and then just experience how beautifully open it feels inside the nostrils. That
It
air
really
coming.
does. It really does. And like I'm becoming more sensitive to it. Like we talked about, it's like just these tiny little it's such a small subtle thing. I totally have ignored it like a month ago, but now it's like just that clarity of yeah of having two clear sinuses is such a satisfying thing.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah. Or it can be. It isn't always. It's certainly when I need to like get that first like elbow like at the car moving, it can take a bit of work. But once I got some momentum to it, like
right.
it's amazing just how small things can just expand to be like beautiful experiences.
Right.
Yeah.
But we have to have the seed. That seed of satisfaction will grow into an enormous forest. But not if you keep tearing the seed apart, looking for the satisfaction or looking for the forest within the seed. It's not in the seed.
Mm. Yeah, looking for the satisfaction in the sea. That's so true, man. It's like I had like an image in my mind of having like a cheese grater, and I'm just like slicing that seed, not letting it grow, because I'm like, where's the satisfaction? I need to find the one true satisfaction. Yeah, man,
Well, good.
that's
Use
crazy.
that example right. All we have to do is just water and nourish the seed, and it will grow. It will grow. Just right now is just good enough. Right now is okay. And let that grow. Keep going with it over and over and over again. Right now is okay. I can take a deep breath. I don't have to worry about making things better. Right now is okay.
I like this. I like this. This call has clarified a lot. My next question was going to be like, it's kind of being invalidated now by what we've talked about, but it was going to be, can you skip jhanas? Because I wanted to know if I could just like, if my mind was like accurate enough, I could just pinpoint like upekkha and just like go straight there. And I think it's not about like doing that now. It's just about, like you said, what can I do to be satisfied now? Forget like becoming accurate, forget skill development, forget any of that. Just right now, just become satisfied. And that practice in itself, that's that like that reveal the path reveals itself. Like I
Mm-hmm.
just become satisfied now. Eventually, like whatever needs to happen will happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because if you keep practicing it over and over again and sustain it over and over again, it will naturally grow. But you don't even care if it grows or not because you're already satisfied with what you've got now.
Exactly. 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 That's it. That's it. It's crazy. It's such a switch. It's such a switch, man. It's such a switch from what my mind has been conditioned to be just used to like all its life. But it's you know
This is great. I think that this is a good point now for us to finish. I think that you've got
absolutely,
this
absolutely.
is it. Yeah. So you
Yeah.
just go and have that
I'm kind of
enthusiasm.
primed for practice. I always meditate after our calls. Like they kind of prime me. I get into a really like focused kind of state, just like kind of chilled state, kind of vibey. Like yeah, it's
All
good.
right,
I'm good.
Ron.
I'm chilling.
Well, you go do that and we'll talk later. This has been a really good
Absolutely,
call. I think
absolutely.
it's been excellent for you. So go
Really has,
practice,
really has.
go play with it. Go have fun.
Brilliant. I'm gonna just like focus on just that relief that I'm feeling. Yeah. Thank you.
All
All right.
righty. We see you later.
Have an excellent evening.